Blog Talk Radio.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Champagne Sundays with your hosts, Lisa and Nancy, editors of BigBlendMagazine.com.
Hey, everybody, it is February 27th, 2022, and welcome to Big Blend Radio's Champagne Sunday show. We are airing live from Anacortes, Washington. Nancy, we got here. It took us a few days. We drove here from Lubbock, Texas, took a nice 7-day journey of seeing some friends in Tucson where our storage unit is. You all know that we travel full-time on our Love Your Park store, and so we stopped by, saw some friends in 29 Palms, California, also our old stomping ground. We went to 3 towns where we used to live and saw friends there.
Crazy, huh?
That we haven't seen for years. And then we dodged a storm, went up the Redwood Highway up in northern California coastline and up through Oregon's coastline to Eugene, Oregon, where we met new friends. And now we're here in Anacortes, which is right by Fidalgo Island. It's northwest of Seattle, and it is freaking beautiful. This is a beautiful, beautiful place. Don't you think, Nancy?
Green. Yeah,
it is
so green.
It's a little overcast today, but we've had sunshine. Yeah. We've seen amazing sunrises and sunsets over the water and the islands.
Flowers.
We're taking care of the most awesome dog, Iris. Hi, Iris. Oh, she's asleep.
Hi,
I
Iris.
played with her all morning.
She's got the waggy tail.
She's got the waggy tail. She is the sweetest golden lab that you can imagine. And it's a beautiful day. So welcome to Big Blend Radio's Champagne Sunday show. You know what? We have an amazing singer-songwriter joining us, Tracey Coryell, and we're so excited to have her on the show. She just puts out really great music. She seems super positive. We can't wait to really get into a conversation with her. But she just released her latest single. It's a rock and dance single. It's called Swords. And I encourage you to go watch the video on YouTube because she gets out a sword. Like, seriously. She's got a sword dance going on. But you know what? Let's play it before. I was going to play it when she was on, but you know what? I think it's a better intro for her that we play Swords, and then we'll bring her on the show. So stay tuned. And, of course, we're going to have some Champagne Sunday toast because that's what it's about. We like to keep things positive. Our hearts and souls and prayers are everything with Ukraine right now. It's not a good thing what's going on, but there's always some silver lining somewhere, and let's find that today. Here it is, Swords.
Tell me why you make her heart bleed.
everyone. You're listening to Big Blend Radio Champagne Sunday Show, and that was Swords, and that's by Tracey Coryell, an amazing singer-songwriter, and you can keep up with her on her website, Traceyland. Now, who doesn't want to go to Traceyland? And that's Tracey with a Tracey. So welcome to the show, Tracey. How are you?
Well, thank you very much. I'm well and good, and I really appreciate you having me on.
Hey, we love having you on the show. What a great song. You've got so many different vibes in there. I love it. I love that you just, it's eclectic, and at the same time, your voice like ties everything together with just this, you have like a Earth Mama sound. You know what I mean? It's like you're connected to the natural world with integrity with your voice.
Thank you.
It's just, it's like there's no BS around you.
Thank you. That's true. I've been told, yes. I'm kind of down to earth. Yep.
Yeah.
I've been told. I feel it. I'm doing a lot of grounding work lately too. Maybe it's coming through.
Yeah, just re-listening again, because I've listened quite a few times and listened to a lot of your music. I think it was I don't know if I was on SoundCloud, where I was on your website, and I just got stuck into your music, and I'm like, damn, I love hearing just a woman's voice where it's not overdoing it, and it's primal without the high pitchiness of primal. You know what I mean? It's like, you know what I mean?
Thanks.
It comes from the heart and soul. Like, yeah, it's like it is Earth Mama. It's Earth Mama. That's the best I can put it. Yeah, Earth Mama music.
I'm all into my sacral chakra and my root chakra. Really connecting with that when I'm into the music. I love it. It feels good.
Yeah, and I like the dance vibe
there.
behind it, because it kind of like it moves it forward. It's like moving. Your music moves forward, and yet grounded at the same time. We need to be
that's
way.
Great. Thank you for saying that.
So do you go barefoot a lot?
Actually, I don't.
Oh.
When I do that, it's a special like meditation when I do that.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. The main reason was I got into acupuncture many years ago.
Oh.
And my acupuncturist advised me to always wear my slippers in the house, out of the house, because it's better for my feet. And it's a whole thing that she had to tell me about it, and I trusted her. So I wear my shoe. I wear some kind of shoes. Open though, so I'm close. I'm like a flip-flop type of vibe. But I'm a beach girl. I love the beach, and I will take them off to get my feet in that sand every time.
Well, you're in Florida, which is cool. So, like, I get that. You guys have the beaches, which, where's the beach here? This is a little cold to take shoes off, but you do it. You know what? There's something invigorating out here. Like, as soon as we got out into the redwoods driving up here, it's cold and wet out, and I'm like, I'm going out. And all of a sudden, like, you feel like your whole body just, like, explode with, like, I'm ready to run the steps like Rocky did, but I can't.
Oh, I want to watch.
No, there's just this, like, it's like this very refreshing feeling, I think it's when you are out in nature, you have that kind of, just like, ooh, there's this extra energy there. And I'm interested about what you're saying about the root chakras, because I think some music, and I remember listening, and I know I've talked about this on the show before, folks, I'm sorry, but there's like music, there was music that goes with your different chakras, and I remember listening to it, and some of it really pissed me off. Like, it really just, everything went like wonky on me, and I'm like, what the heck is this? And then there was music, I was like, okay, now we can do that. So when you're going from that, like, stance in writing music, do you have to, does everybody have like a different chakra vibe per chakra? You know what I mean? To be able to put music out there that connects with everyone's chakras. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah, well, actually there is, because each chakra is vibrating at a certain frequency. Okay? So I don't know them off the top of my head to recite to you, but you can create music in that frequency tone, in the proper key, because each chakra has a key that it resonates to as well. So when you're doing more of a meditative type of if you're listening to it purposefully, for that chakra, and you find this music, there probably won't be singing. There shouldn't really be lyrics per se, if you're doing it for this health purpose, right? This energy balance purpose. But each chakra does have its own, and you might hear a voice singing, just a note, or no words, vocalese rather. So and all those different chakras, it should appeal to, if you're feeling bad, if you're hearing something that's actually beautiful but it's making you feel bad, that chakra is probably out of balance or drained or overactive. It takes a little bit of a diagnostic to figure it out, but it could be. But if you're listening to a song, it's an actual fully produced song with vocals and guitar, and it's full out, it could be a rock tune or whatever it is, and it makes you not feel good, it's just not your vibe.
Yeah.
Because I have music like that too, that I cannot listen to it. I know it's a good song. I know it was produced well, but it's making me like physically not feel good. I'm just not vibrating at that level of all that, whatever's coming out, we're not on the same vibrational level really, that's what's going on.
Isn't that a question of timing too? Because the next day it might be the best song ever. It's a question of timing.
It might feel good to you.
Yeah.
Yes. It might feel good to you the next day. Yeah.
Yeah, that happens.
You're always
with
changing,
music.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. We're all changing, and I always say that we are vibrating beings. We are, and we are vibrating all around the planet. And we have to get our vibrations more in the positive and be like, good vibes.
Good vibrations.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm right there with you. We're the same tribe.
Yeah.
Good vibrations.
It is good vibrations, and it's not, because you can't always be on like one, you can't smile permanently. But I would like to. It'd be nice, wouldn't it? Like if your face just got stuck on a smile for the rest of your life, that'd be all right.
That'd be pretty gloomy.
It might hurt.
But apparently
it reminds me of.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
It reminds me of I had some friends that worked at Disney in Magic Kingdom. They said we smile for a living and we go home and our face hurts.
Yeah,
it hurts.
I know. Exactly. So, swords. Tell us a little bit about this and getting the swords out. Now, have you ever done like sword fighting as like because you've got the whole dance going down. I'm like, look at her, and that was a beautiful sword. There's a whole art to that,
Oh, I've never picked up a sword prior to it. And the idea of picking up the sword came after the songwriting, and when I'm trying to figure out what to do with this video, and the obvious thing was, let's bring some kind of sword into it. So I start researching swords. There's all kinds of sword out there. And then I love Japanese culture. So here pops up in the Google katana. So I start researching about katana swords and how it's so spiritual. And it hooked me right off the bat when I realized how this is a mind, body, soul practice. It's not really about the art. Like the art of war, because I'm not into war, but there's something deeper about the whole katana and the fight. That's not what drew me to it. The physical fight with another person or anything like that. It was.
I think there's a follow through with it. Like when you hold the sword and you move it, right? There's a follow through with watching where the sword is going. So it's meditational in a way. And I think that's kind of what martial arts is about. Is this meditation, focus, clarity,
discipline with your body. And I found a sensei. He spends half his time in Japan and half his time in California, and I started learning from him via YouTube, and I love him so much. His name's Kaz Kobayashi, and it was fantastic for me because talk about timing, because the time frame that I was in to learn what I needed to learn to get what I needed to get into this video, he was having these live sessions on YouTube. And I couldn't believe the timing. I was like, and what he was teaching was very beginner, very basic, and it was exactly what I needed to get what I needed into the video. Because I'm just into the beginner stage, you know. This is a lifelong practice, and I've stuck with it. So I'm still learning. And it's just, like you said, like in any martial art, it's really a mind, body, soul practice. It's a spiritual practice. It's gaining control over your mind, and it's about balance. It's balance.
Being able to focus. By the way, I just want to say it takes I'm just Googling this because it's fun. It takes 17 muscles to smile and 43 to frown. Plus, frowning gives you wrinkles.
There you go.
I'd rather permanent frown. I can't help it. I was born with a big line on my forehead, and then my center part is like buckled into like little. I can't, it's just the way it is, and it's like, because it's like I have an upside down frown, like a, head frown, and I don't mean it. It's just the way it is.
You need a new mirror.
I don't want to do the plastic surgery, But
face yoga, baby.
I know, face yoga, and go stand in the ocean, and go out in the sun, and it all just it all becomes fine. That's the way it is. But I love this, getting into a whole new craft from this, a whole new lifestyle. So did you go pick out a sword? I mean, did you have one lying around? And what happens in getting a sword?
I found
that's a whole
sword dealer.
No.
I know. Who's got a sword in their closet? Yeah.
Listen, believe it or not, I went right on Amazon and I found the perfect sword for me. I really did. It's handmade, and it's not the most expensive sword, and it's not the cheapest sword. But I knew right away that this is something I wanted to incorporate into my lifestyle. So I got
the one in the video?
A decent one. That's the one in the video.
Do you have to have
I love the design on it.
Do you have to have a permit to have a sword, like a person would have to have a permit for a gun?
No, anyway, we're in Florida, but I'm kidding.
Good one.
I'm kidding. I love my state. I love everything about it. I really love this place. But no, I was likening it to like wearing a helmet on the motorcycle. We don't have to wear a helmet here, but. No, we don't need.
You don't have to have a license for riding or captaining a boat either. You can just buy a boat and get on the water. I think that's a national.
Exactly.
You don't have to have a license. You can just have a boat and get out there, and that's like wow.
No license needed for a sword. No, I mean I haven't researched it, but not that I know of.
See, now that's your follow-up song. But I hear that you're in the works for another single.
I am. I really am. And talk about root chakra and sacral chakra. It's called Wildness.
Cool.
Wildness. Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
I'm on this. I made a plan to do 4 singles this year that coordinate with the seasons, that coordinate with, the chakras, and I have fun with tarot cards. So the 4 suits in the tarot. So I've kind of intertwined those 3 things, the elements, air, earth, fire, water. So, and I vowed to do 4 releases in this dance rock style, which is a fusion of what I started off in when I was 18, 19, which is dance music, and then the rock, which I kind of morphed into in the 90s, that chick rock. So I'm kind of blending that, and I just, I'm 50. I'm going to be 52 in a minute, and I look in the mirror and I go, while you got something left that physically fits with this style of music, just do it, Tracey. Just go for it.
Well,
let yourself break free.
It's global. I think what like I was saying about Earth Mama music, because your voice is have you ever heard of, and I'm going to say Deva Premal? I think that's the name. I have to send it to you. It's Deva Premal. I think I could be saying it wrong, but it's meditative music, but it's also world music, and you've got that Earth Mama sound where your voice is carrying, but you're bringing all these styles in that you've got even funk in there and everything, and it's like I think it's very global, and it's non-generational in a way. You know what I mean? It's I think it's universal. It's a universal sound, which I love that, because it transcends that. When you can do music that just everyone can go, oh, I could get into that. And it moves forward. Like I was saying earlier, it moves forward, which is positive when it's a positive move forward. That makes sense. It's taking a positive first step. And wildness, I like that. I like that too. 'Cause it's nature, and nature is timeless.
Exactly.
Mother Nature is timeless. She'll keep recycling, and we just got to figure it out.
We got to go with it. Yeah, we got to go with it. I like all my songs start from some kind of personal situation or issue, and I'm really big into self-reflection. And so these, Swords is about self-sabotage, and how we all have this, we all are doing this, and it's about really, I'm trying to not preach, but I just want to spread the idea of self-reflection, because when we get ourselves balanced and into good, we're peaceful, shiny, happy, smiley people, and it starts there at home with ourselves. And self-reflection is, there's really no other way to do it. And sometimes we self-reflect from somebody else being our mirror, which is how Swords kind of started in my personal realm. And then from there, I got a little bit of the lyrics, and I got all into the music, got the music done, did a lot of meditation, because I thought, I changed the lyrics slightly from what they originally were, because, I'm always trying to find my part in something that doesn't go right. And I realized there was self-sabotage going on from the other party and from myself. So I was like, wow, how often do we or another person sabotage something that we want so badly, or a relationship, whether it be business or pleasure? It's happening so all over the place. So Swords is really about self-reflecting our self-sabotaging ways and reflecting on that.
Because self-sabotaging comes from, like, okay, you really don't, what you want to have happen, but you really don't know if it will happen. But there's a whole bunch of theories that say, go for it, go for it, go for it. And if you stick true to it, it will happen. But back in your mind, you have this self-doubt, because not everything always turns out the way you want it. So it's a control thing. Let me self-sabotage rather than let anybody else or nature sabotage it, because then you're still in control. So the big deal is, can you give up control enough to let it happen?
Can you let go? Let go.
Yeah. Let it go, but still work for it. Can you do that? That's not that easy.
No, that's why I wanted to do the video, if you watch it, and when I'm howling, that howling part, that's the letting go, breaking free, breaking out of this controlling thoughts don't want.
That's what I love. My favorite part. It's like okay, getting right down there. You have to be raw to move forward. You have to get down to exactly. You have to be honest and integrity, and have that, like, this is really about mindfulness when you look at it.
Yeah.
When we lose that self-sabotage, I think, comes from losing mindfulness, and when things things can spiral out of control very quickly. Just in life, and it's easy to get caught up with all the things you have to do, the to-do list, the whole thing. And trust me, I'm there, man. I'm there. It's like, oh my God, got to do this, got to do this, got to do this. And next thing you know, you're not really who you are anymore. You're just that machine doing all these things you think you have to do, but life really doesn't care about that.
Right.
Exactly.
What it's about. And I think COVID taught people a lot, and then people are also coping with COVID. So while a lot of us were getting mindful, a lot of us were spiraling the other way. It's kind
getting
of,
desperate.
What I mean? Yeah. Survival mode. Survival mode is a dangerous thing.
That's vicious. I mean, that's your last dig. So survival mode, people get vicious, and how can I
true.
say?
Yeah.
The good stuff goes right out the window when you're in survival mode, man. That's bad.
It really can. Yeah. It can. That shows, like, it really shows where the person left off, evolutionarily speaking, with their their own being, spiritually and earthly. Like how far did you get when you're at that bottom and you're desperate and you're in survival mode? That's where it comes out. So it could really show a lot of where someone would need to work to get, to heal, rather. Say heal.
And survival mode is also necessary. I mean, you've got to think, that survives, you need that. So that's a positive quality, and it can be negative. Look at the folks that just, stood up for their country and died literally just died for their country in Ukraine. You think about that valor and that real honest to just I'm standing and we are going to fight for our country. Yeah, they made that decision. That was a decision. That's beyond survival mode, I think. That's that is above survival mode. There's survival, run, bring the it's a very interesting time for us to. I mean, for me, I just want to go in there and take everybody out of Ukraine and bring them home. And I don't, we travel full time, so we don't have a home. But it's like that initial. It's a very horrible feeling to not be able to go in and save everybody. You know what I mean? There's that feeling of this just really sucks, and we can't really do anything. There's giving, there's donating, there's all kinds of things we can do and we should do and need to help these, people in Ukraine that are, really in survival mode right now. And I think that's where humanity lies. But at the same time, you really just want to pluck them off and pluck them out of this situation. You just wish you want to fix it. Yeah, you want to fix and heal. It's a mothering. Position.
That's the maternal instinct.
Yeah,
it's maternal.
It's horrible
I try to send when any. I don't watch the news, but I can't escape it because everybody that knows me knows I do not watch, but they tell me what's going on, so I can't escape the news. But I love to send good vibes out. I believe in energy. I really, really do. I believe why there's no judging energy. There's negative energy and there's positive energy. And so I want to perpetrate positive energy. And when stuff like this goes down, I really try to see everybody in good light. What we call the good ones and what we call the good guys and the bad guys. I try to put them in good light because I don't want the bad guys. So I don't want to add negativity even more to them, whoever we're saying are the bad guys, I want people to get along, So I got to see everybody in a good light. To me, that's I send this energy out. Through prayer
difficult.
And stuff. Yeah.
Like who you call the bad guys. I always, for me, coming from spending years in the bush and watching wildlife, I'm going to go down with the bad guys are insecure. And so they're always in survival mode. So they're always at the worst of their game.
Yeah, it's like
the bad guys. They know they're doing bad. They know it, but they think
there's
somehow,
a level of narcissism in there. I don't believe every human being is healthy in their mind. We all got something. We're all a little touched somewhere.
Yep.
And a lot of the times our leaders can be imbalanced. Let's just put it that way. I mean, and some of them are over the top and and it's like.
I
try to stay so in the middle. I really
this is where you're the whole thing about energy. It's scientifically true. Energy number one doesn't die, right? So it's cyclical, and it's whatever we put out there. I mean, protons and electrons, all the neutrons in the middle. So Tracey's a neutron, but she's really a proton because she's positive. But she's a positive proton, right? So, but the thing is, we're vibrating. So if you're going to vibrate good, doo-doo is going to fly everywhere. Or you're going to vibrate happy, positive, like people do pick it up. I mean, there's been actual wars stopped over someone smiling and handing a flower. That has actually happened in life. Things have happened through positivity. It doesn't always work that way. It doesn't, because
it doesn't always.
It's a cycle.
But you have to realize when countries go, like when there's a person in power, why is it the first things they take away are the arts, freedom of expression? See, because they're insecure, because they can't handle.
It's probably a personal. It must be a very personal opinion. It stems personally from the one person calling the shots, and then there's a group of people. It's a momentum that's given to that negativity. It gains momentum, and then it becomes the prevailing energy. So I still believe good prevails over evil. That's why in a situation like this, good has to prevail. That good vibe has to be more than the negative vibe. That's why I don't want to get too sad with this, because that's a negative vibration.
Yeah, they need to have positive. It's like when no, I do not want to put war and death and everything into a sports realm. But if you are rooting for someone, they feel that, and it's an excitement, it's a happiness. So it's like when you are sending good vibes out, and like, hey, you can get through. We're here. We want you to get through this. I think it does vibrate that way. I mean, I know it sounds woo-woo to everyone, but I do believe that. I think it's, if you're not putting out those positives, they're going to get the other side and go, well, I'm screwed on all sides, No, but people need to have some light,
That's why in sports it's so awesome when the teams have supporters who are cheering them on. They need that. To not feel, I am out here alone. You need to cheer, your cheerleaders. You need to cheer.
I just don't want to put the sports and a real war are two different things, but it is similar to what we're talking about. But I want to go back to the swords and tarot, because when you pull tarot cards, right, and then you see the swords, or you see the tower, you see these like death, right? The death card. It's like,
the death card.
Crap, I'm dying. Bad, shit. Excuse my language. Sorry, it happens. But that's the first thing you think, like, and yet you have to, like, the whole tarot is about changes and positive changes, isn't it? Like when you get the sword is like, you, even in your video and in the song, it's like you're slaying the dragon. Like that's part of like getting rid of the negativity. Like, hey, I'm going to cut the crap in my head out, and I'm going to cut it down and get down to the real who I am. Everyone's got a different thing from me when you listen to a song, so I don't want to do that. But when you watch
it's
it,
fine.
it's like,
it's good that you make your own version up. Yeah,
everyone's got their own thing on a song, and so I don't want to put my stuff in their stuff. But it when you do go to the tarot, that's what's so interesting about tarot. You have to have a clear perspective when you go into it, because when you see those cards, it could be like, oh my God, the sword's going to kill me, or oh my God,
It's never like that though. Yeah, that's the death card usually doesn't mean death. It's just change. It's change into it's death and rebirth. It represents Scorpio. People that are ruled by Scorpio, they dwell in that death and rebirth process mindset. They're very interesting, mysterious people. They can handle that, being around that energy, and that's the death and rebirth. Death card is death and rebirth. It's definitely going through a transformation of sorts. That's most of the time. That's what it'll mean, unless there's some other card. It depends on the cards around it. Really, if you're going to get deep into tarot. So.
It's reinvention.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's reinvention.
It's actually good. I don't mind getting the death card. When I first started dabbling, that death card would scare me, and then the more I educated myself about it, I was like, oh no, death cards. Actually, I like seeing it, because that means something's changing, because we want to keep moving, right? Tower card.
Reinvention.
Tower card is what it is. It's something shocking is going to happen. You might not like it, but like from one of my mentors says, we need all of our contrasts, and we need all of our, I say need, but we need to embrace all of our contrasts as well as all of our blessings. How else are we going to live?
As
we can't grow without
as a musician, what would you have to sing about if everything stayed the same all the time?
Exactly. That would be boring. I would be a flat line.
Yeah.
You know, be no life.
Exactly. Like as a painter, what would I paint if everything looked the same all the time?
Yeah.
You know, if you don't notice the difference when you go somewhere, like I can go out in nature and go to the same place the next day at the same hour, but something will be different. It's up to me to notice it. It's up to me. It's not up to nature to show me something different. It's up to me to notice it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, you know, so people like, okay, it's a brand new day, put a new face on, take it with a positive spin instead of a negative spin. Twirl your mind around. Sometimes a really good exercise, put yourself in what you think, because you can never know, other people's minds are thinking where they are and what they're going through. What would you feel at that time? I mean, that's what movies and music and art is all about, transporting you from who you are right now to somewhere different so you can understand the world.
Yeah, you take on a different perspective. Yeah. The suit of swords in the tarot, you know, that's all. That's the air element. That's the thinking element. That a lot of it's also, some of them represent pain. The pain we can bring on ourselves from overthinking. You know, it's the self-sabotaging element. It's you know, I'm trying to think of one card in the swords card that's actually good. Probably the 10 of Swords, because it's the end of all of the swords.
It's like once you get there.
Well,
yeah, but I wonder about tarot. Like, it's kind of like astrology, right? There's all this science behind it, but I wonder how much of it is awareness, and then also what we can manifest ourselves when you read something. You know, are you going to manifest what you just read, or are you going to change it? And then there's synchronicity. I think a lot has to play with synchronicity, and you only know synchronicity if you're in the mindful zone. You know, it's like you have to be in your zone.
Yeah, tarot is, that's all up. I don't like to call it a game. It's a tool. You don't have to believe anything that comes out of those cards.
No.
It's an energy thing. So
it's
most likely if you're just doing it on your own, which is the preferable thing to do, not, you know, that would be what you wanted to do, because it's all you, you know, and source, spirit, God, you know. So at that point, your energy's going through those cards, and it makes probably more sense with what's going on in your life. So it's like another form of reflection. You know, I don't take it 100% as seriously as maybe some other people do with the tarot, but I've used it as a tool to get through and, you know, get some just cut through, you know, get some ideas about myself, you know, and I don't really use it as a direction, like where am I going? I don't use it like that.
I think it's just a way to jog you out of how you think today and look at it from a different perspective. Like, I research tarot cards because I think, you coming on the show, go look at tarot cards, the history of it. Nobody knows where it started or when it started. The history is unknown until about the late 1700s, where these cards started showing up. And nobody can really trace it back or say for sure yet where they came from, but they said that what I was reading said that the gypsies used to carry the cards, and they were all illustrated with different things, not what you see today that's manufactured, but different illustrations about different things that happened through a lifetime. So whoever drew the cards, because whoever was carrying the cards drew their cards, so their life experience is going to be different than somebody halfway around the world who drew their other set of cards. So I mean,
it's like a card game. If you watch readers on YouTube, they'll have a disclaimer. This is for entertainment purposes only.
It's like runes, reading runes. You know, this kind of reminds me of, remember the game Leela, Nancy, or Layla, L-E-L-A. There's a game, and it's numerical. It's like snake and ladders, but with consciousness and weather. And then you're playing, it's got to do with numbers and throwing dice, but it's like snakes and ladders, or snakes. What do you, shoots and ladders in this country? I don't know.
Shoots and ladders.
Oh, shoots and ladders.
Yeah, snakes and ladders. And so it's...
So you can't say snakes here.
Yeah, okay. Well, anyway, it's you, if you're playing, it's this consciousness game. It's a crazy board game, and if you wish your opponent ill well, you're going to, no matter what,
you're going to lose.
You lose. And so it's going with this positive energy you're talking about. This game, it's like weird. You have to put ash on your face and all kinds of weird stuff, but which is kind of fun. But anyway, I kind of dig all that.
Oh wow!
But I know. I wish I know it's in our storage unit because I would not give this game up. This is like one of those. We never could finish it because you had to have this purity, and none of us are pure. And, you know, so it's like this every time you like. I want to win over this person.
It's a self-discovery game.
It's really cool. It's a really cool game to play because it does show where your consciousness lies, and it goes exactly what you're saying, Tracey, about the positive energy, putting that out. Because as soon as you leave it, which is very easy to do because it's easier to lie in the negative than it is in the positive if you're not practicing positive, right? And so as soon as you don't, then you as soon as you slip, you go backwards in the game. It's very interesting. So all of us are always going backwards in the game, and then maybe I got a little positive. And so it's a very it's weird because it's a game based on numbers, and at the same time, no matter what, we human beings screw it up. So it is like consciousness, which is very cool. And I love that you're using this in your music. Where did you get your start in music? Tell us a little bit about your background in that. Was it something as a kid? I mean, you were talking about earlier in the 90s, and tell us about that.
It was way back. I was very young. I was 13, and it was just a way of expressing, releasing. You know, I was just doing it in my bedroom by myself, writing songs, playing a keyboard. I was inspired from a band that I liked, and I thought, I want to do this. This is because I wrote poetry for a few years when I guess I started when I was like 9 or 10 writing poetry. And I just kept wanting, there was a momentum to that, and I wanted to expand, and I was like, oh yeah, well there's music, there's a band, I could do this. And so I was writing these songs at 13, however good or bad they were, who knows, but that's when I started, and that just grew, that passion grew and grew and grew. And I joined bands, local bands. I didn't study music, but I joined these local bands, and one of the bands, we cut it down to a duo, which was me and my I was engaged to this one man, and we were a duo for a very long time. And we made it down here to Florida. We didn't last as a couple, but you know, both of us continued musically. But that was a huge part of my development as a musician, was working with him, because we had some great situations come our way, which you know, studio situations, writing for bigger artists. It was just fantastic, and that was the dance music period. And with him, I also moved into the pop rock down here in Florida. So that's kind of where it started. It was like another limb for me, music. I just couldn't see ever not having that as part of my life, because it's the way that I always say, it's therapeutic. I'm not alone in that with musicians, songwriters.
It's kind of how you relate and explain the world as you see it.
Yeah, it was healing for me, and now I hope that someone else could be inspired by it to heal themselves, or somebody not even heal, but to feel, just to take themselves to the next level, to be free, to be happy and free. It's the ultimate thing.
because dance is a very freeing thing, and it's a very ancient thing humans have been doing. Even when we were cave people dancing around a fire, that is where that tribal, primal part of us lets go. I mean,
celebration.
I was watching the documentary on Studio 54 the other night, and it was really about people just letting go. I know there was a lot of drugs involved. Okay, fine. But people wanted to get to a different plane. Whether it's drugs or dance, people wanted to trip out. And who doesn't? I mean, it's like, okay, we've now learned, like, no, that's not good for us. But dance takes you to another level. It is
you can trip out and zone out.
You can trip
with dance, like you can with a drug. It can trigger those chemicals in your brain, and you can feel bliss with dancing. It really is. Yeah. You can connect. You connect to this earth that we're on, and you can also connect to God, Source. You know that, and I don't know. I like to like I'm a neuron, right? I play the middle here, but you can connect to both.
I just meant that she's like, but you're a connector. But that's what a musician is: a storyteller and a connector.
Yeah.
You're a messenger, right? You're the messenger neuron.
Yeah, I like it. No, I'm liking all that stuff.
Well, neuron's neutral, and then it takes negative and positive.
Neutron, really, right? Neutron. I said neuron.
Neutron. Yeah, they're neutral.
It's different than the nutria. You don't want to be nutria, but
they're cute.
No, I know, but a neuron, neutron. I'm like neutron. Wow,
neutron.
It's a proton neuron. Yeah, neuron. I feel like I'm back in science class, but it's true. The neurons are really that's the balancer. That's the balancer, and that's what the arts are. It makes us get out of our comfort zone, so that we can really feel and expand beyond our borders that we create. Like you talk about self-sabotage with swords. That's it. We do that because we box ourselves in all the time. It's like this weird comfort zone, and it's really not a good thing. Boxing ourselves in it's number one, it becomes boring, and then we do stupid things to relieve the boredom.
To prove you're right.
Yeah.
How about to prove you're right?
Yeah.
Let's have a war to prove you're right.
I think we're doing a really good conversation on therapy. I think we need to go to therapy.
So take your sword out and cut it all away.
Get your sword out.
Dance. I love that because it's also sword fighting is a dance. It is about knowing when like when we go out in the wild and watch wildlife. And it's about understanding the next move of the animal, to photograph it or to really understand your danger zone too. Like, are you going to get bitten by that snake? It's about understanding the movement of the snake, and it's a dance. And it's when that happens, like if you get into we've been in really stupid predicaments. We do it all the time. We end up like, oh, let me say hello to this cottonmouth in the Okefenokee swamp. Oh, if I even turn this one movement here, he's going to get me, and rightfully so. But you need to know and understand to have that. And then once you get away, you go, the adrenaline is beyond any drugs can ever give you.
Because you related to nature and understood it, like your vibes. Like we have ancient vibes from the history of mankind from the very beginning. There are things that are dangerous. Unfortunately, to a huge level that doesn't need to be at. But when you're in the wilderness and you see a snake, whether or not the snake is venomous, they got fangs and they bite, and they will defend. So when they coil up, if you don't get that spring attack about to happen, sneak attack, then you don't be in the wilderness. Because when the snake coils up in front of you, that's called warning. I'm going to attack if you don't back off.
And the snakes do vibrate.
Yeah,
Tracey, I'm just saying. It's back into the vibration zone. Yeah.
And don't they do their tongue when they're sticking their tongue out? They're feeling. Yeah. Yeah. They're listening.
They smell the fear on you, and they go, "Ooh, I got this."
Based on your vibration, right? Is that what it is? Because you're moving the air a certain way?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, look at whales. Whales are all about sonar. right? And so we're back into the whale conversation. We'll never stop this
boy,
whale and music thing. It's always about the whale. It's David Gilmour's fault. He did it.
Yeah.
He is the whale. The ultimate whale guitar is David Gilmour. But like seriously, it does have to do with, sound is vibration, and if we are walking, vibrating vessels, then music is our language, truly, not what we say, oh, you can't touch this. Like, no, music is universal, and that's going back to your music. I think that's really what you've done, and I love the fact that you've written a songbook for kids. Tell us about that, because, I mean, to even do a songbook, is this like the actual chord structure? I mean, we were saying before we went live here that we really want to see this, because like, I want to see it. The lyrics? Is it the chord charts? All of that, or is it teaching songs like the what's going on with?
Called Tilikum's Dream, and it started off. Yeah, I wrote a children's song based on Tilikum, the orca that was in captivity in SeaWorld Orlando.
But back to the whales, see?
We're back,
Never ending.
I was taking, prior to that, I was taking a children's literature children's writing course from a company up in, a school up in Connecticut. And I think I did that for about a year. I got some certificates and things like that. And I was trying to get published writing children's stories, not songs. Then I had the idea to write. I don't know how How did I stumble into Tilikum? Because I'm not big into protesting and things like that. I'm the middle. I like the middle ground type of thing. I don't.
The neuron.
I stay in the middle. But something touched me. I love Iceland. I've traveled a few times to Iceland with my husband.
Cool.
And then we also been to Whidbey Island for the Django Reinhardt Festival.
Yeah. We're right there. Yeah.
You're right there. So of course there's Orca Island there. So I was being influenced by the orcas. And so I love the water and these beasts, these beautiful beasts.
It's amazing.
And then the idea is that I was going to SeaWorld because I had a yearly pass. And I remember looking at Tilikum going, he just felt sad. He felt sad. You could feel it.
Captivity.
In the beluga whales, I was having all this like interaction with these. But they're behind this plexiglass. So everything, it clicked in me. I tripped. Yeah. And, I was like, I'm writing a song about this. Because I want to actually put my voice out about how, as much as I loved going there, it was a sacrifice. And I gave up my pass. I said, I'm not stepping foot in this place ever again, and I haven't. It's been many years.
But it's a trade-off. You got education there. See?
It is. I think now he died. Tilikum died in there, unfortunately.
Yeah.
January of 2017, and I think they took. I don't think they put any more orcas back in. I stopped paying attention, but I don't think they did. I think they have a couple of dolphins. I think they're kind of doing away with having them in there now because they've had a lot of pressure.
But you know what? You could take it just from the orca to any zoo, to the smallest animal in the zoo, and say the same thing. It's education versus reality.
Yeah.
Well, but the education is going out and seeing them in the wild and protecting them being in the wild spots. And remember, back in the day, Save the Humpback. You could be in the Midwest, and they did. They saved humpback whales with a huge campaign without anybody in the Midwest have ever seen a humpback whale. They had to travel that. So you don't, you do not, it's like it's the education is, hello, these are living beings, and there's species we've never. There's so many species on planet Earth that we've never personally seen, and just cherish them all. It's all part of our being and our cycle and our lives. We're all connected. But it's really true when you see them in that place. It's just when you see animals in captivity, it is just not right. Even we pet sit as we travel the country, but honestly, these animals shouldn't be in captivity. This is not the right thing. But now we're here with them, and so we give them as much love as we can. But it isn't
There's
right.
a difference between holding them in a sanctuary because they're being harmed and they need to be protected and things like that. They're healing from some kind of something or other, rather than putting them in a park that's raising a lot of money for something for their own existence. They're not there. They use the animals as a way to make money, and then the guys
put it under the auspices
it's education.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's where I don't agree at all.
There's this awesome sanctuary called the Wild Animal Sanctuary in Colorado, and they also have one in the Refuge in Texas. And this Pat I don't have his last name on me, but we went to the sanctuary, and this is how much of a sanctuary they are. They were rescuing animals from hurricanes, from circuses. They had 2 bears in there. They had to get off of nicotine because the bears were taught to smoke in a circus. And so, anyway, they save all these animals from all these situations around the world and from zoos. It started with Pat was a 17-year-old rescuing the abundant animals that were being reproduced in the back of zoos that you never see as the public. And he was like, these animals need a place to be like theirs. And so he started creating these natural sanctuary kind of places where the animals could kind of feel more freer than in a cage. And next thing you know, he just is a lifelong dream, and he turned the sanctuary, and then he realized the education thing really had to be. But the education, because if people do want to see the animals, it could not interfere with the animals. So he made it where, when an airplane flies over you, you realize it's an airplane, but it's not going to touch you.
Lisa.
So, yes. Okay, one second.
Door. Oh.
Okay. Anyway, Nancy, tell everybody about the sanctuary and the skywalk. Okay.
Okay. So what was great was you weren't disturbing the wildlife face to face like behind the bars in the zoo. You were actually watching them from way above, so that they weren't disturbed. They had big. I don't want to call them cages because they were natural habitat as much as they could do. And the animals were free to roam to a certain point because you couldn't let them out on the neighborhood or something. But the animals acted pretty much like what we saw in Africa. But animals in Africa, they don't, how can I say, they have a zone. Like it might be 1 mile, it might be 2 miles. Okay, they're not going to go longer than that because they can't control more than that. So the animals in this place had maybe not, I won't say enough space, but the best they could do, where the animals didn't feel controlled. Wasn't like a zookeeper with the iron bars.
No, we were above them. We could walk above them.
We were above.
And we were on the
see
skywalk.
Down.
Yeah.
So we weren't staring at them, which animals really feel that, especially primates, monkeys really feel it when you stare at them and you're watching them in the zoo. They really feel it. I think all animals feel it to a certain degree, but monkeys really feel it, and they don't like it. It's just it's disturbing. I mean, it's like, how would you like somebody staring at you no matter what you're doing?
Yeah.
You're
waking up a little bit,
have,
Nancy. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
When you have that epiphany about, the animals in captivity, there's no going back.
Yeah.
There's no going back to it. And, we teach a lot of people that are going there, they're not awakened to it, and they're not teaching their young children about it either. So that's why it keeps getting perpetrated, which is one of my reasons for writing that as a children's song. So I wanted to start from the children to know that, hey, these they're 30 feet long, sometimes longer. They're 20-something feet wide. They don't belong in a swimming pool.
Yeah.
In a park, in a theme park. They don't belong there. They're unhealthy. They're being fed frozen fish. That's not what they eat in the wild. He developed lung problems because he wasn't breathing properly. That water wasn't true salt water. They had to treat it, all that. So he died for living because he was in there,
Yeah.
And I just wanted that to go out, so I put it in a song, and
love it.
And it was a good cause. A friend of mine did the illustration. She was on board with the cause as well. And I made a Facebook page, and it got published, picked up by a publisher and everything. So I was like, you know what? It was meant to be. It was a good vibe thing. It was all done with good intentions, not to try to shut down theme parks, but they could do plenty of other things in honor of Orca than have them in there.
Better. They're doing a lot better. I think they are moving because so many people have done like what you've done. So many people have like, hello, this is not what we want. And they're starting to go more into the rescue and becoming sanctuaries. And so we're seeing that, but we all have to be very aware of where we go. Is this a good thing or not? So I really want to see this. But number one, just want to say sorry for having to disappear there. And Nancy's like, Lisa, we just got our wine delivery, our anniversary wine delivery from the Cole Winery up in Walla Walla, Washington. So thank you. We can't wait to open the box.
Wow.
It's our 15-year anniversary for Big Blend Radio. We're doing all these live shows. We've been doing a lot of Zoom recordings, but we're doing all these live shows again. Just as part of our heritage of what we do in 25 years of Big Blend magazines. 10 years of being on the road with our Love Your Park store. So thank you, LaCole Winery, for doing that. And so like we got wine in a box. Like we need to open it. But this is exciting. Yeah. Do you like wine?
Congratulations.
I think I saw you having wine on Instagram. What you were? I think you were counting down to a release. Yes. Was it wine or what was? You had something red. Ooh.
Oh yeah. I love a good Italian red wine.
Yeah.
Montepulciano d'Abruzzo. That's one of my favorite reds.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm a little bit Italian. Have half Italian.
Oh, right on. Well, we had to have lessons to say that, and we're still not quite there. But let's get into our champagne toast because this is an important part of the show. And you're positive, even though you're a neuron. You are a positive.
I'm sure I'm a little bit of all of it.
Yeah, a little bit of all of it.
You can't call people a neuron.
Yes, I can. Well, because I mean it in a good way.
She's not saying moron.
Neuron. Yeah,
not moron. Neuron. Yeah, it's a different.
No, but let's everyone. Tracey Coryell, that's her name. Okay, so too much trouble. But Champagne Sundays is the flagship show. We still only do shows on Sundays once a week, and it's kind of gone out of control. We are taking a break over the next few days, though, because we have a lot of shift and change with all our new magazine productions that are coming out. But let's do a champagne toast. It's all about what's being positive and what we're happy about. No matter what's going on in the world, there's always positive. So, Nancy, you're the mother. What is your champagne toast today?
I really toast to the birds that still sing, no matter where we are. First thing I always hear in the morning is some bird going, "Get up." And I'm singing. For whatever reason, they, male or female, may be singing. I toast to the birds that sing, and may they live and procreate forever. That's my toast.
Ooh.
Cheers. Cheers to that.
I like that. Cheers to that. And by the way, there's tons of trumpeter swans. And you drive into Anacortes.
I know.
You'll see them in the wetlands, like hundreds, if not thousands, of trumpeter swans and ducks, mallard ducks. I feel like the Kinks. Ducks on the wall. They're just like everywhere. They're everywhere. And there's seagulls. It's so weird to be in the backyard playing with a dog, and all of a sudden there's a seagull overhead. I'm like, what? You know what I mean? It's just a different place for us, and it's beautiful. But I vote for the birds because there's even a hummingbird here. It snowed here the night we arrived.
I know.
We dodged the storm. We arrived here in time for the snow that night, and there's a hummingbird in the morning. There's a hummingbird couple here. Yeah. And they're happy as can be. Let's still have. I'm like, what? It's cold, and they're like, no, we're gonna drink out of the, the feeder. We've got and the flowers are still trying to bloom and stuff. So resiliency is what nature is. She really is amazing. So, Trace, what is your toast, Tracey?
My toast is to the sun.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah.
I'm always here's to the sun, whether we can see it or not. We know it's always there. It's even reflected in the moon. So it's everywhere, and it's that happy place, that bright spot. So I'm going to toast to here's to chasing the sun.
Yeah,
Ooh,
I like it.
Chasing the
like
light,
that.
chasing the sun. I do too. I like that. I like that. I'm toasting. Can I toast to Marmite? Because I got to have Marmite after many years tonight, this morning.
Seriously?
I know, Vegemite. It's my thing. It's delicious. A lot of people don't like it, but it's really good. No, but I want to toast to actually new and old friends. We, this trip, we were able to see our old friends, dear friends, in person that we haven't seen for years that are part of our family. They're like that close family friends. And, we have our calls all the time. We didn't get to see our friend Steve Schneikert, which is unfortunate. We did get to see him last year, but we weren't able to because we're dodging a storm. And we made new friends, and we continually make new friends. This pet sitting thing is the craziest, coolest thing we've ever done. We're making friends who care about animals and planet Earth and love to travel. It is awesome, and you're in their lives. It's a very immersive experience. And through this, I really do believe in world peace, because no matter what side of the political coin or whatever's going on, we're able to all bond over animals, love of animals, love of travel. And if you travel, I think you have a open mind to different cultures, and you do get out of the comfort zone. You do listen to music, and every person we sit for somehow has a love for the arts because they travel. It's a connected thing. So I toast to new and old friends. And Tracey, toast to you and your new music. We've got to toast to you. That's the biggest toast today.
Well, thank you. Cheers to both of those things, all of that.
Yeah.
Chin chin. Yeah.
Chin chin. Salute. Now, everyone, and Tracey will be performing it Up, Up, and Away. I feel like now we're going to play, I'm going to let the sun shine in. Up, Up, and Away, Hot Air Balloon Festival in Lakeland, Florida. This is May 6th through 8th. Upandawayflorida.com. Is that correct? Have I got that right? You'll be performing there?
Yeah.
Cool. I wish we were in Florida.
Yeah.
Well, when we're in Florida, I'll call you because we'll have to have wine. We'll have Montepulciano. Did I say it right? Montepulciano?
Yeah, you did. You did.
Okay. Yeah.
Good for you.
And we'll do a sword dance out in nature, right? We'll do an out in nature sword dance. Would be very cool. Well, but thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
This has been so much fun.
My pleasure. It's really been great to chat and meet new friends.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to meeting you in person. And I really appreciate being on here. It was a great chat. It felt good.
Good. Yeah, I mean, it's this is the Champagne Sunday hour of hey, positivity rules, and so to travel in the arts and nature and orcas and dogs and cats. Cats have to be in there too. Just saying, because Tracey's got a cat too.
You have a cat named Honeybell. Cool.
Yes, she's a Norwegian forest cat. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
She's grand, the queen.
I bet.
They are. See, that's it. Yeah, we went from the Queen of Lubbock, Cusco, the Queen of Lubbock in Lubbock, Texas, to now we've got Iris, the sweetest dog on the planet. Seriously, crazy sweet dog. And so, but you can't call her the queen. She doesn't have that attitude. She's like don't steal my balls, but please play with them, And don't take that figuratively, everybody. But anyway, we're gonna close with the song "Inseparable." Tell us about this. Is this from your album? Is this a later single? What's happening with this?
This "Inseparable" is from my last album, which was released in December 2019. It was a tribute. The whole album was a tribute to my late husband, Larry, who was a jazz guitar legend.
Amazing.
He was born in Texas. It followed your route to where the drive that you just took. He was born in Texas, about the age of 7 or 8 or something like that. He moved to Washington, the state of Washington is what he liked to say. And he stayed there till his 20s, and he moved to New York, to do his jazz career, and he did very well. Anyway, that whole album was a tribute to him. the song Inseparable, he produced it when he was alive many years ago. It's an older song, but I put it on that album because it just seems so important to do so, especially what I wrote it about. I wrote it about him, and and he, as a jazz guy producing it, when you hear it, he produced it in this dance. It was kind of like a slow grooving dance vibe.
It's beautiful.
I was like, why are you doing it this way? And not, he's like, this is what I felt it should sound like. So, it's about my husband, and it's so profound right now, because even, speaking of energy, he's not here anymore, but I feel him all the time, we're inseparable.
See, so he's still here. In your heart, in your soul.
Energy
and
dies,
to
man.
People who he met and dealt with,
all his music that's out there.
Exactly. He's still here.
He's a badass. I'm sorry, because I don't look at people in the past tense, but he's a badass musically.
Yeah.
And you could tell he felt and cared about what came through to you as a listener. He cared and he took you on trips. It's a trip. You listen to his music, he takes you on a freaking trip. And he played with Cindy Blackman Santana, was on our show a few years. She was actually on the front cover of one of our first digital magazines. We've been in magazines for years.
I know Cindy.
Cindy's a badass. She talk about a positive light, right?
Dude, she's
amazing.
She's kick-ass.
Yes,
I worked with Cindy. When after Larry left, I was doing, because for Larry I was like his business manager. I kind of took a pause on doing my music, and I was just helping him. The career was crazy, it was jam packed. There was not a dull moment, and so I took on that role. And so I got these, skills of booking an artist, and I took, when he left, I was dabbling with that with some other artists with a contact down in Australia, and I booked her down there, and it was fun working with her. She was great.
Cool. She's into meditation and levitation, man. She does. She's like Carlos. It's like music transcends. She's really positive light. And I love to see women on drums just kick it and bass, just like, check us. We can still do this.
Yep.
How did you meet Larry? Were you singing with him, or how did that happen?
No, it wasn't. The only musical context involved was we were at a music store.
Right on.
I really didn't know who he was. I had to. The friend that I was with knew who he was, so that's how I knew who he was. But I was none the wiser. It all started there. It was more of a spiritual thing because he was big into Buddhism, and we would talk from that point on about Buddhism. And so our connection really was the spiritual one at first. It really was. And it was very strong. It was a very strong connection.
That's awesome. That's awesome to have that connection because you can grow from there, where sometimes couples have some completely different political and spiritual beliefs, and then they still manage to connect. And I think that would be so much work, to come from different spiritual zones. It's got to be difficult, That's nice that you can relate spiritually, And Buddhism is like Hinduism. It's got this.
I accept
peaceful.
It all.
We do too.
I mean, I think the ultimate spirituality is accepting all of it, because if not, you become a hypocrite. If your mind's the best, well, if you read through all your precepts and all your everything, you've just gone against your own religion. So you have to accept it all.
I so agree with you. I mean, it's just be open.
Yeah, and Larry and I were the same like that. We were very accepting of
just be open.
We were both like that. Our relationship was, he was a lot older than me, and nothing's perfect, nor would I have wanted it to be perfect.
What's perfect?
That'd be boring. How do you grow from that?
You don't grow. I grew the most. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I know. I was going to say.
I know. We're all talking at the same time.
I know, because what is
three
perfect?
women on a show? Let's all talk at once.
Perfect is what each person wants for themselves. There's no perfect.
No, there's no perfect. And Honeybell wants to say something. Listen to her. Can you hear
her? This is a kitten.
She's trying to talk.
Honeybell.
Hi, Honeybell kitten.
Hi, Honeybell.
She knows. She has this timer. She's like, "You've been on the phone for too long."
I know. She's all mad.
Time to tend to me.
I know.
Yeah.
It's time to play Inseparable. We're going to do that. And listen, Iris is going to wake up any second and say, let's play ball. So thank you so much, Tracey. Iris is ready. She's like, okay, look at my butt. Anyway, dogs and cats will show you their butt. But on that, we're going to play Inseparable. Thank you all for joining us here on Big Blend Radio. Thank you, Tracey. Continued success for you with your new music. And hopefully we do get to meet you in person someday in Florida where we can play swords, drink wine in the sunshine. That sounds like a good way to be. That sounds like a good day.
That sounds like a plan. You just put it out there, so let it be.
All right.
Yeah.
And that's called Traceyland, everybody. You can go to her website, Traceyland.com, and that's Tracey, it's Tracey, land.com. She's on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. I encourage you to go to YouTube and watch Swords as well. But here it is, Inseparable. Keep up with us at bigblendradio.com. Thanks so much, Tracey. You take care.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. You too. Be well.
Take care.
You too.
Okay, thanks.
Ba-dum, ba-dum, bum. Ba-da-dum, ba-dum, bum. Inseparable. Ba-dum, ba-dum, bum. Dee-da-dum, dee-dum, dee-dum. Inseparable. Lover, when you call to me, I hear your every breath. Even when you're far from me, I feel you closer, yes. Everywhere I go, you're with me. You can fly up to hide under my bed. Either way, from June to June, I still be in your head. Anywhere you go, I'm with you. Inseparable. Inseparable, 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 1,000 women inseparable. When my youth is not so young, I still will love you. When my senses aren't so strong, I still will feel for you. Anywhere you go, I'm with you. You can fly up to the moon or hide under my bed. 'Cause either way, from June to